Hola, mijos. I have another story for you. I do have another book that's on its way, and it will be. I think I'll have better stories. But I found this one. I thought it was pretty good. It's from the Grimm's Fairy Tale. It's number 62. It's called The Queen Bee. Once there was a king who had 3 sons. 2 of them went out in search of adventures and fell into a wild, disorderly way of living, so that they never came home again. The 3rd son, the youngest, was called Simpleton, and he set out to seek his brothers. But when at length he found them, they made fun of him for thinking that he could get through the world with his simple ways, when they both could not make their way in the world, and they were oh so much more clever than he. They started traveling together, and they came upon an anthill. The 2 eldest wanted to destroy it, to see the little ants creeping about in their terror and carrying their eggs away. But Simpleton said, "Leave the creatures in peace. I will not allow you to disturb them." Then they went onwards and came to a lake, on which a great number of ducks were swimming. The 2 brothers wanted to catch a couple and roast them, but Simpleton would not permit it and said, "Leave the creatures in peace. I will not allow you to kill them." At length they came to a bee's nest, in which there was so much honey that it ran out of the trunk of the tree where it was. The 2 wanted to make a fire beneath the tree and suffocate the bees in order to take away the honey. But Simpleton again stopped them and said, "Leave the creatures in peace. I will not allow you to burn them." After some time, the 3 brothers arrived at a castle, where stone horses were standing in the stables, and no human being was to be seen. And they went through all of the halls, until, quite at the end, they came to a door in which there were 3 locks. In the middle of the door, however, there was a little pane through which they could see into the room. There they saw a little gray man who was sitting at a table. They called him once, twice, but he did not hear. At last they called him for the 3rd time, when he got up, opened the locks, and came out. He said nothing, however, but conducted them to a handsomely spread table, and when they had eaten and drank, he took each of them to a bedroom. The next morning the little gray man came to the eldest, beckoned to him, and conducted him to a stone table, on which there were inscribed 3 tasks that, when performed, could deliver the castle from the enchantment. The first task was that in the forest, beneath the moss, lay the princess's pearls, 1,000 in number, which must be picked up. And if by sunset 1 single pearl was not found, he who had looked for the pearls would be turned into stone. The eldest went there and sought the whole day. But when it came to an end, he had only found 100. And what was written on the table came to pass, and he was changed to stone. The next day the 2nd brother undertook the adventure. It did not, however, fare much better with him than with the eldest. He did not find more than 200 pearls, and was changed to stone. At last the turn came to Simpleton. He also sought in the moss. It was, however, so hard to find the pearls, and he got on so slowly that he seated himself on a stone and wept. And while he was thus sitting, the king of the ants, whose life he had once saved, came with 5,000 ants, and before long the little creatures had got all the pearls together and laid them in a heap. However, the 2nd task that was on the table was to fetch out of the lake the key of the king's daughter's bedchamber. When Simpleton came to the lake, the ducks which he had saved swam up to him, dived down, and brought the key out of the water. But the third task was the most difficult. From amongst the 3 sleeping daughters of the king, he had to choose the youngest and dearest. They, however, resembled each other exactly, and were only to be distinguished by their having eaten different sweetmeats before they fell asleep. The eldest a bit of sugar, the second a little syrup, and the youngest a spoonful of honey. Then the queen of the bees, which Simpleton had protected from the fire, came and tasted the lips of all 3. At last she remained sitting on the mouth which had eaten the honey, and thus the king's son recognized the right princess. Then the enchantment was at an end, everything was released from sleep, and those who had been turned to stone received once more their natural forms. And Simpleton married the youngest and sweetest princess. The end. I think that was a not so bad story. I kind of liked it. I think it just goes to show that if you are kind and considerate, then maybe not good things will happen to you, but maybe it'll avoid bad things from happening to you. We'll see it that way. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.